deep and still, within us and around us now. Now. It's everywhere, and we don't have to manufacture it. It's part of our experience, I would say, even before date zero or age zero. It's interesting, at the physical level of things, space is everywhere. Look around you. There's more space here than not. Simplest atom, hydrogen atom. One electron, one proton, one neutron. And then if you look, particularly now with computers as they are, look at a diagram of them. There's a huge energy field there too, but mostly space. The gold atom, it has 79 electrons, 79 protons, and 118 neutrons. I don't know why there's that difference, but it's very dense compared to the number one. Look at the whole picture, the huge energy field there, same thing. More space than not. It's everywhere. You look up at the sky anytime, day or night, more space than not. One of the neatest experiences, I think, is looking into the night sky. If you happen to be in an area particularly where it's very clear, the atmosphere is very clear. It's an amazing sight, and it allows something to happen in us that doesn't seem to happen in the city, or even while driving, or any kind of other activity. It's that way. Space, at the physical level, it's everywhere. Now, coming into something that's more relevant to what I want to talk about, the level of consciousness, mental energy, perhaps you might call it. Not the same as space. Maybe more like emptiness, but what's there in between our words, my words? Your thoughts and your feelings. Not something new. Experience it every day. There is an absence, a quietness, a stillness. We just heard Scott playing a little bit extra at the end and the beginning of Deep and Still. In between the notes and the words. When the choir was singing, notes and words. When Scott was playing, just notes. What's there? Nothing. But your experience is quietness, silence. It's interesting, I mentioned something about neuroscientists in Stanford when I was speaking earlier. Well, one of the things they've also found out is that in between notes, there is this quiet. But what happens in the brain, and because of the technology the way it is, they're able to monitor brain function and neurological function in general much more accurately and much more broadly. When there's this quiet between the notes, the brain actually steps up its activity a lot. It may be just like that, or there may be, a second or two in between words and notes, but the brain activity goes right up. They found also that if you're learning something, it's best to allow the integration to occur by stepping back. One example might be you're studying for an exam, 50 minutes studying, 10 minutes quiet. But there is much more integration into the memory part of the brain during that quiet time than during the active time. Interesting. Also, recent studies And I don't know exactly what that means in terms of years, but recent studies have shown that studies with the MRI technology have shown that people who do silent meditation regularly, make it a habit, it becomes part of their lifestyle, have more effective lives. Things work out better for them. So it's here. It's in us. Even our bodies are full of space. Our minds are full of quietness. Our whole consciousness is full of quietness. Now we have a problem in a certain sense. We have issues with things like city noise, traffic, advertising, other people, and electronic devices, as I said, that of all kinds, not just cell phones and smartphones and game devices, but how many of us have allowed TV to become a weapon of mass distraction? Get up in the morning, turn it on, darn thing nearly burns up before you turn it off at night. Don't need to do that, but again, I would fight for your choice to do it or not. But it is a choice. You can allow that to happen. Be completely distracted by noise in the city, business, lineups, people. You know, the possibilities are endless here. But these issues really aren't bothering us. They just present the opportunity to allow ourselves to bother them. So they appear to be something very harsh to be dealt with, something which requires a lot of work. Doesn't have to be that way. We can learn to let this stuff in which we're engaged to just flow off us like water in a shower, if you're relaxed enough. We all know we've had days when a certain person, certain issue doesn't bother us at all. Other times, it's deadly. It takes the relaxation factor to be there. And in our society, it doesn't happen all by itself. We've got to work at it. But it's interesting, the way to work at it is allow it to happen, rather than doing all kinds of relaxation exercises. Often they just increase tension. Even certain kinds of breathing, they may do something initially, not in the long term. Just certain kinds, though. Just certain kinds. What I'm suggesting is that we allow a true time-out to occur in our lives, and time-outs, plural, not just one kind, many times. Devise them yourself, invent them yourself, but do it. We've already done one here this morning, and we've been doing it most of our lives, maybe even, again, before we were born. Listening. We just listen. Something happens, something changes. I have a friend back where I'm from in British Columbia who has, she says, diminished the pain of her arthritis from a scale of, well, if you consider 10 intolerable, 7 to 2, just by sitting, closing her eyes, and listening to what she can hear outside. She likes to do this. That's really significant. And she's off painkillers. Simply the relaxation is allowing her to not have the same kind of pain. She's loosened up. Things were very much related to tension and not disintegration of bone structure. So now for a few seconds, let's listen again to whatever is here. And it helps to close your eyes, because that helps to shut down brain activity quite a bit. Thank you. The energy in the room changed when you did that. Got quieter. And you've been listening all your lives. You're experts. Another way of allowing the silence, allowing the quietness, relaxation is to, I'll demonstrate it, and then you can try it a couple of times. Just take a big breath. And just let it out. Just let it fall out. Don't push it. Just let it fall out. And that, doing that, it refocuses. Another little activity that we've all been doing as well all our lives, but perhaps not made it a focus of any kind in what I'm talking about, is to look at something in nature. Well, here we have some plants. Just look at it. Look at them. What happens in you? And now shift your focus to the candle flames. Just look. Three little activities. And there's many, many more. But three little activities that you're very used to in your lives. You've been doing it all the time. But change the intention, and the result is different as well. Just give you a few other activities that you could do in this way that you've been doing all your lives. Nothing is really changing. Just asking you to spend more time with quietness and silence. We've done the flower, we've listened to music, but you can go for a quiet walk by yourself or with others. Quiet walk. Have an excellent meal by yourself or with someone else who's not too chatty. Look at firelight, fire. We've done candlelight, being with a loved one. Nice, calm, relaxed atmosphere in a nice setting. That could be anywhere. Here's something I've discovered myself. You may have done it yourselves, I don't know. But whenever there's a commercial, I push that mercy switch, as I call it. It's spelled M-U-T-E, but I call it a mercy switch. And I started listening to, or watching rather, sports without the sound. Very different experience. Much more enjoyable than listening to a raging ego going on the commentator. Basically, it's whatever activity allows you to relax into your own beingness. It's all there. Nothing new, just a change and an intention to do so. When you do that, you'll find a real silence that's a little different. You can make yourself be quiet and still, but there's a very large difference between real stillness and mental quiet. So my suggestion is to explore quietness in your life. Take these creative time outs. See what works for you. What you find that works, do it more. Do it more. The beating of your heart is something like this. Contracts and lets go. Contractions go. What's the sound? Thub-dub or something like that. Lub-dub. Most of the time, that muscle isn't doing anything. It's relaxed. Even here. Time out. So my wish to you is that you experience peace as never before, and life as never before, just by making an adjustment. In a way, it's nothing new. Just by considering it, rethinking, do your own work, and practice. Allow something different to happen.